put the gamer headset on. So
When I started into this online media thing, I think the first time I used a camera is for most people, of course, it's the one on the laptop. Yeah, and that one is also not so good, but it's a start.
the gamer headset on. The mic quality.
It's a good start. It's a good start.
Okay, gamer headset is on. So we all look like actual gamers. Eric's vibing, yeah, in chat. Are you listening on your side or through mine? You listen to yours. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Hey everyone, how you doing? What's up?
Go.
Welcome to the stream.
So
We're vibing. So today is going to be a little bit of a different stream than I'm used to. You got to stay hydrated, man. So you got I'm used to streaming gaming, but today it's going to be more of a discussion, interview style type of thing. We're all just gonna relax, have a good time, talk about competitive Siege. And before we get started, well, I have to introduce my guests. So why don't we start with MojAE? Just kind of tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. MojAE, I think that's my gamer tag online. I'm known as James Carano on Twitter, YouTube, just everywhere in general. I'm a streamer, vlogger, yeah, and esports all rounder. So yes.
Alright, okay. Let's go to Hydra. Hydra, how are you?
I'm good, and you, eh?
I'm good, thanks for asking. Welcome to the stream. This is your first time here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's definitely my first time doing this.
yeah, so
Used
what
to being, behind the camera.
why don't you tell us who you are and what you do, what you play?
I'm Hydra. I play for Vanguard, the captain there. I only recently started playing Siege, like 3-4 seasons ago. I was always a Call of Duty fan, but somehow I found my way to Siege, and having it ever since.
Awesome. Okay, my last guest is Jordan. Jordan, how are you doing?
no, always good. Always good to be on stream with Eric.
It's great to have you, trust me.
Yeah, I always love to see how fast you're going live, hey?
Okay, so tell the people who are watching who Jordan is.
My in-game name is Rich Boy. If no one knows, I'm an all-round gaming player. I play everything Apex to Titanfall, Battlefield, but mainly Siege at the moment. Co-captain of Vanguard Bravos with Crow. Yeah, I've been playing Siege since Operation Hull, so that's what, almost 6 years ago now, I think. if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken. So yeah, I've been playing for just after Velvet Shell, pretty much. So yeah, I've been jamming everything cards. Just the games go on and on, eh?
Okay, thank you. So today I felt like we should talk about Rainbow Six in Africa because I felt like there isn't really anyone who's giving us a complete picture of the story, let me say, of what's going on in the continent. And hopefully we can educate people, we can tell the world what we're up to. To get us started off, I think I'd like us to discuss what the history of Rainbow Six Esports in Kenya and South Africa is. And again, I'll start with you, MojAE. Can you kind of turn the clock back, take us back to how it all started with Siege in Africa,
Wow.
in Kenya? Well, I'll speak for Kenya. I'll say sub-Saharan Africa because
Yeah.
I mean those are the countries that I'm most familiar with, Kenya and South Africa. So, hey, take it away, James.
Okay. I can't remember clearly whether it was year 3 or 4. I think it was 3, right? That's when we met. And you really brought me up to this interest of like Rainbow Six, because I was more of a Call of Duty person back in the day. So I started getting the interest of the game, and I think with that I was engaging parties into like us having an African-wide tournament at the time. And I kind of spoke to some like 1 or 2 interested parties. That's all the way across like West Africa, some in East Africa. There were a few in North Africa, sort of. And the interest in South Africa was very heavy. Like there was a lot of people that actually wanted to have like an actual tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I engaged a lot of those people, and we decided we should have one at the time. That's when now, with those interested parties, we formed like a community-based league called the Pan-African Gaming Union. In short, it's called PAGU. And we started season 1. I think the time when people registered, there were like, how many teams was that? Was it 24?
Wow.
Which was a lot.
That's a lot.
And there were so many eyes watching like the tournament that it started becoming a subject of interest to so many people. Like how is Rainbow Six not in Africa? And yet there's so many people who actually play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when now I shared it with some people at Ubisoft and the like, and I think the announcement came out later on. Not that I'm saying I'm responsible for the servers actually coming. Not that.
Oh no.
But I can say, like, to the interest of the community and with the help of everyone that actually participated in the project, at least it yielded something, which is good. Yeah. So when we got the announcement, I think that's when now the interest started building up, and we were waiting and waiting. Of course, the wait was very long. I think 2 years was way too long, if you ask me.
It was tough. Let me not lie.
Yeah, it was. Like actually knowing that there are servers that are coming, and you have to struggle with almost 200 ping. Like that was difficult. That was very, very difficult.
True.
But when the servers actually dropped, that's when now we decided, okay, like a lot of parties came left, right, center. That's when now tournaments were being organized, which was beautiful. It was massive. So come all the way down to today, I think we started seeing a lot of teams, clans, organizations taking interest because of the accessibility of the servers, and also organizations hosting tournaments and the like, which it's a good thing. It was a really good thing. So it's really massive to see how far we've progressed from back 2-3 years up to now. And yeah, I don't know, it's overwhelming, so to speak. So yeah,
I can speak a little bit to that because when it was year 3, I think it was year 3, because I remember the last season I played before I took a break was Parabellum. So at that time I remember all the stuff you're talking about because I was actually a caster at Pagu. And it was looking up in terms of the interest growing. But then unfortunately for me I had to take a break of about, I don't know, a year, 2 years, something like that, a year and a half, I'm not sure. And I feel like during that time when I was on the break is when all the esports interest was growing, and I was just completely out of the loop. I was kind of burnt out with Siege, let me say. So I wasn't following up with like people who talk about Siege on Twitter. So I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I didn't know that the scene was growing that large while I was away.
Yeah. And taking it back to EU times as well, when we had to play on that thing, I know a lot of the South African, just thing, and just I know the whole of the South African community back then was just begging for servers, because we had so many teams that were running, and even though you were on an EU team, you really couldn't play comp because of the advantage. I think it was 150 that the max was back then, or something like that. And we used to sit on like 200, 210 about. But then Siege servers came out for South Africa and Africa in general, and then all the bugs that were happening with the servers and everything. I don't know if you guys remember that it went live by accident, and then everyone got so excited, and then they just cut it down again, and everyone was like, "Hey, why? Give us servers now!" And then they came out, and then everyone was happy again. Yes, and then going just all the way back to when I started playing Velvet Shell, ping was such a disadvantage for any new players coming into Siege from South Africa and Africa in general, that it was just like a bad experience that you have if you're not used to first-person shooters. So yeah, that's why I was ecstatic when we got told that we were going to get servers eventually, and everything fitted into place. And then competition started. I remember starting off with Saturday Night Siege and 80k, the 80k tournaments and that, and then getting into now us running Vanguard Esports League, and Face It now that's popped up out of nowhere, which is actually a blast for practice, is something completely different. So we've come a long way from what we used to have to what we have now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Hydra, do you have any contribution to make as to at least your personal history with competitive Siege in Africa?
Yeah, the competitive like area in South Africa now, and Kenya and the whole of Africa, it's starting to grow, and it's amazing because if you see where we were and where we are now, it's just amazing to see that we can actually like start hosting our own events in Africa and start getting like more exposure for the game in South Africa and all. Because playing on EU servers, like Jordan said, it was horrible, and if you didn't know the game at that time, like Jordan said, when you're beginning to play the game, it was just terrible for starting, because you had to learn how to like play wing, and I think it's better that now, and won't complain about it. Even though the African community can be toxic sometimes, but you get that everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think that's true for all communities.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, so I think a theme that's coming out right now is that things used to be worse, but now they're better, and the scene was smaller, but now it's bigger. Do you guys agree that?
True.
No, most definitely.
Yes, it's very true.
Yeah. Okay, so in my interactions with people from South Africa, they always ask me, how is gaming in Kenya? How is it viewed culturally, socially? What is the scene like? And usually I tell them, you guys have it better than us, because here you couldn't really go to a shop and get like an MSI graphics card, because they don't stock here. There are no shops here. You couldn't buy like a monitor for gaming. You could buy a general purpose one, for the office. But if you wanted like an Asus Strix RGB monitor, you couldn't find one. Yeah, and I think you guys are ahead of us in terms that you have like arenas where you can host LAN tournaments. You have big names like White Rabbit, 80k. They're big sponsors who are actively invested in esports in South Africa, and in Kenya that's just not the case. I don't know if James, you agree? in terms of generally, esports is a bigger deal in South Africa than it is in Kenya.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think the pinnacle actually for Africa is that is where it's at. Like these other countries are actually like taking leaf from what South Africa is doing at the moment. That Kenya included. So and we're seeing like developments coming up one by one. There are so many things that are happening at the moment. I think maybe I'll share later on in the course of the discussion.
Okay. So Hydra, how is it being a gamer in South Africa? Because I'll tell you, in Kenya, it's expensive to buy gaming equipment, and then also ping-wise, it's expensive because you either connect to South Africa or EU, and in both cases, the ping difference is just so nuts, especially in a game like Siege where there's such a strong pickers advantage.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, parts are expensive for a computer, and it's insane to think how much everything costs. And especially with me being a student at UNISA at the moment. I don't work at the moment or anything, so I'm still studying. So getting those components for your computer is a bit challenging. But I think once I start working and everything, then I'll be able to buy those better components for the PC to get the gaming onto the next level. But for the moment, it's nice, especially with the South African servers. It's much better with the components we have. So we're not only working with the ping now. Your PC is actually like being able to run, and you don't have two problems to worry about. It's just the PC at the moment and not the ping as well. So
yeah, parts expensive even in South Africa for people. I mean, I play on my laptop. I've got my second monitor running, playing through my laptop, but I mean, I have a 950M. I mean, I still run Siege. Now for now. Started again because of the whole coronavirus, and then start building up again and getting parts together for a complete new PC.
Okay. So I think we can all agree, as we've all mentioned, it's rather expensive to be a gamer in Africa, yeah?
Yeah, most definitely.
I think part of that has to do with the fact that it's like a new industry to Africa. It's novel, it's like liberal and forward thinking. So the barrier to entry is pretty high right now. I think like when it progresses, it will get a lot cheaper. I don't know, that's just what I think.
Yeah, I also think so. Like once South Africa or Africa in a whole, like the goods and everything, then building more like partnerships with type of things to like the industry better, and then I think, in my personal opinion, that things will start getting cheaper. Take the new 30 series quick cards that are coming out. They're going to be cheaper than the 20. They're a lot better. So things are starting to get better in terms of technology-wise, with everything that's being created and everything. Like, still, there's so much in the technology industry. We can't imagine when everything is gonna take a bigger step into the future, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is hearing Hydra breaking up, or if it's just my side.
No, it's by me as well.
Okay, so
yeah,
I guess we'll just have to deal with that.
Yeah, his internet at the moment is not.
Oh man, case in point. We're talking about how difficult it is to be a gamer, and can't even have a Discord call.
Boys, telco, man.
It's tough, man. It's tough. But like we've said today so many times, you work with what you have, and I guess you just work hard, and in the future you upgrade where you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about how in general. So we've talked about the esports scene in general. Now I'm going to focus on to the Rainbow Six one in Kenya, and of course this is all subjective. It's all from my personal experience. It's from my point of view, but there is basically no Siege esports market in Kenya because I think that Simba Ultimate is the only team. I don't know if
Yeah.
James will agree with me on that because he's probably more informed in terms of orgs and teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably Simba and Dex.
Simba Ultimate is the only team in Kenya that plays Siege competitively, and it's not even a full team. We've had difficulty finding 5 people at the very least who are interested in playing Siege competitively. So I guess that gives you a pretty good picture of how small the scene is, because if there are no teams, then we can't even talk about events, organizations, and competitions and tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, James,
But-
how does that
yeah.
feel?
It's daunting sometimes.
Say
'cause,
frustrating, but
it's frustrating.
it's
yes.
frustrating.
It's frustrating when you guys
Yeah.
go up against us in ranked, eh?
Yay, man!
Yeah.
Because you guys are in a 5 stack, and
I got James earlier today in a ranked.
Oh yeah, we had a terrible experience. Like we were being thrashed, like left, right, center. Things were just going bad. So yeah. But
But to be honest, you were playing against the alphas of EG, and they were actually really, really good. So
yeah. Oh my, they're really good. Oh yeah.
yeah, so it's been frustrating being someone who's this passionate about Siege and more so about Siege esports. It's been really difficult to find a consistent, I think that's the keyword, James, a consistent team of 5, or I should say 4 so that I don't count myself. 4 people who you can always play with and always practice with, because Siege, unlike many games, is, I think, first about the strategy and the tactics. The first person shooter comes second. Yeah?
Yeah. Very true.
yeah, definitely.
Because you couldn't be the mechanically gifted gunner who just clicks heads shroud style and
We can't all be Shroud, yeah.
you can't do well in Siege only on that. You have to have all this massive game sense, and part of that is what makes the learning curve for Siege so steep, because there's just so much other than gun skill that you need to know. So no matter how much passion I have, I couldn't take it and use it alone. I need a team no matter which way you cut it, and finding that team has just been so difficult.
True.
James, why don't you tell people about our struggles with finding a team
Oh yeah.
And
The
what that
Crusade,
and how that has led to where Simba Ultimate is today?
yeah, like Simba was very focused on like Siege and holistically like the whole FPS genre. So like the Crusade has been long trying to find like a group of like serious players. Some of them were there that probably got discouraged along the way. Some just got caught up with like life related commitments. So we just decided, just the few that are there, like let's keep the spirit flowing. Let's just keep trying, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are indeed.
So when is Simba United playing in our Val tournament?
And right now,
We brought your caster.
oh yeah, like even right now, like apart from Olympus, we are having an issue with like one player, because apparently, I don't know, he's back to school. So we've been like trying to like ask him like what's going on. So like yeah, so life is just happening. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
always
and unfortunately, everyone's personal lives actually do come before anything else. So we can't hold it against them or anything.
yeah, it's just the way
Very true.
life is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan, I think I cut you off.
No. I was just agreeing. I said yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, finding a team has been tough, and no matter how much hard work and preparation I put in, like I try to learn new strats, I try to plan strats. You can't really practice them because of how much a team-based game Siege is, and I guess you just have to live with the situation.
Very
Because
true.
what are you gonna
Very
do?
true.
On the other hand,
Very
though,
true.
on the other hand, in South Africa, Siege Esports is a big deal, and I don't know, there are like so many teams because
Oh yeah.
I just recently got involved in the esports scene there as a caster for Vanguard Esports League, and it's just crazy how much interest YouTube has in watching our streams if the numbers are anything to go by.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and they have loads and loads of teams. There's a lot of even like politics among the teams as I understand it. But but that's from an outsider's view. Why don't Jordan and Hydra tell us what it's like, what the CG sports scene is like in South Africa as South Africans? So Jordan, you should go first.
Well, in South Africa, it's difficult because you have your top 10 in South Africa being the 80K boys, and a whole bunch of those, the MRK guys that are now in Mauritius that are playing here with the Meraki tournament that's coming up now at the moment. There's a whole lot of teams that are always going to be better than you, so you always try and work harder to beat those teams. And with that being on the esports, when it comes to competition, you know that they've been playing since EU times as a team. So they've been playing for almost 2 years in a whole, or together as players. So they know each other, how everybody plays in the team. So and they've been using those strats for, let's say, a year. So they know everything about the game. They have their mechanics are down to a T. Their gun skills are on point. Their map knowledge is on point, their game sense is on point. Everything's at like 150% for those guys.
Wow.
Like, for example, Corso, he's level 500 now almost.
Wow, my
So-
gosh.
He is actually level 500.
Yeah, so I mean, not in a mean way, but he only plays Siege. Like, I'd never see him playing anything else. Like, not to be mean, but like, he has way too many hours in the game to go against his team and beat them. So, and especially now with our big open tournament, the No Human tournament that's coming up for Val on the 9th of October, we're getting 80k in as well. So we're chatting to the 80k boys to get them in, and then we've got the general teams that have been in the closed tournament, so TV, Prevail, Vanguard, Bravos and Charlies, and yeah, so we've got an ADG of another one, Ladin, all of them that are coming in. They are always going to be better teams than you, but you've always got to try and be your best and get at least a couple rounds in, just to show that you're always something and you can go against these guys and not just give up hope on anything.
Yeah, everyone likes an underdog story.
Yeah.
True.
So Hydra,
That's why you guys gotta have to watch the Charlie's new human tournament, eh?
Yeah, we have to watch the okay, we'll see about that, John.
we'll be
Yeah,
there.
the Charlies are at a stage of point where we are gonna start showing the Bravos who's the new alphas actually in the Vanguard
It's okay.
community.
We're gonna have to organize a scrum then to test that. We'll have
we'll have to.
We'll have Olympus caster match, everything. Then the whole community can see for themselves.
Yeah, no problem with me. You know, always keen to give Jordan a smackdown. You know.
Yeah. We're just gonna ban Ash and Doc, and you guys are screwed. It's fine.
Yeah, that's Miami's main operator. But you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Yeah.
Ash main
Yeah, but for For the Charlies, the last 2 months, it's been difficult. Like in terms of preparing for a tournament, because most of them, like on the Charlies, most of them are still in high school. So the problem is they can only play until a certain time of night, and then during the day they're at school, and so we only have a couple of hours during the day to like actually like play ranked and start like getting together and practicing stuff and everything. But as time progresses, a better future for the Charlies. Actually got two new guys in, Defiant Zeus and then Silent Shadow.
Oh wow!
Our team is actually grow a little bit. So once we get the actually while we are organizing two scrims, where we have one tonight, and then I'm gonna ask Jordan if we can scrim like Tuesday or something, because we are entered in that MojAE tournament that's starting on the 17th. So there's still a lot of things to figure out for the Charlies, but with time.
Oh, okay. So, I definitely feel what you guys are saying. Jordan was talking about how teams like ATK are more established, they have more experience, they have more LAN experience, if any, they have more competitive experience, and overall they're just, they've been at the game for a while. So I can definitely understand.
Way too long.
I can definitely understand when Hydra says, it's a challenge to find people to play with. I feel like the connection there is when you've played as a team for so long, you're really good, and when you haven't played as a team, there's just something about the chemistry that's off. And James, you can attest to this. when we play the usual squad, or when we're the usual squad, there's a certain style of play we're all used to and we're really comfortable with, right? Yeah. And
sometimes it clashes though.
It does exactly, because yesterday we were playing a game and there was this player who's rather new to our squad. We haven't played too much with him, and the chemistry just wasn't there. I mean, it's no shade. I'm not throwing shade at the guy, but man, it's just so difficult.
He's a very nice guy. He's very chill, but there's something just that's going wrong.
I think with time you'll probably like blend with your guys' like energies and all that type of things, and then getting the chemistry there. I think that's the most important thing about a team is like building the chemistry. You can't just do that overnight. It takes a while before you get that chemistry and that bond.
100%. And I can see why Jordan was saying it would be difficult to go against a team like ATK, because imagine just how good of friends those people are and how much that helps them when they're playing a game like Siege, where there's so much communication that's required of you, and as well you're required to keep a really cool head. So if you're playing with your friends who you've played the game 2-3 years with, and I guess one of them makes a mistake, I feel like out of friendship you can't just start insulting your friend. What the hell is wrong with you? Why aren't you watching that flank? But if you're playing with a random, or someone who you're not used to playing with so much, the tempers can rise.
It gets very casual these days.
So
Casual is the new rank.
This has happened, especially on a freaking casual map on Tower. Oh, I hate that map, and I get so agitated with people on that map.
Yeah. And last night's matches, James are a testimony to that. After one match, we're like, okay, guys, everyone, let's just calm down. Let's take a break. Let's all breathe. We just play to have fun.
Yes, we don't even do that. That's the worst thing. Everyone's like, okay, I'm going, bye, cheers. Leaves Discord, alt F4. You don't see them till tomorrow. They're just gone.
Yeah,
Mm.
disappear. That's a thing that happens. Eh?
Can't relate. Can't
Oh,
relate 100%. So yeah, I mean, that's
It is
that's
what it
just the
is.
way things are, I guess. And it's funny how in life we struggle whether success is due to luck or due to hard work, and it's kind of a combination of both. So I guess I could say 80k and many South Africans were luckier than me in that. You remember when I said I took a break? It was about a 2-year break. And I've seen this in the chat. When I took that break, it was because the environment I was playing in was not conducive to my mental health. Because I was just really frustrated about trying to get better, trying to improve my game sense, trying to be a better player, trying to find a team, trying to grow the esports career. I was really, really worked up, and it always ate away at me mentally. And at the same time, I had a laptop that was performing poorly. It
Oh, yeah.
I know the struggles. Don't worry.
it was
So we all
terrible.
know the struggles.
It was terrible. And the way Hydra said, I had to worry about two things. I had to worry about the FPS because they were so low. It was even difficult to see opponents on your screen because you have to turn down the graphics so much just so that the poor laptop doesn't die from overheating.
Doesn't blow up on you.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I had to worry about ping because back then we were connecting to EU and it was so tough. So I had a talk with myself. I said, okay, it's just not worth all the stress it's giving you. And wow, imagine being in that situation and then every time you go against someone in a gunfight, you die to Pika's advantage. It was terrible. It was and oh, I forgot to mention this. I was playing alone. I also didn't have a squad. I was one of the James can tell you this. I was one of the only people who ever played ranked back then. I was the only Kenyan who ever played ranked.
I remember at the time, I used to have like such an Olympus so much. Like I really want to be like him. He plays ranked alone in EU and still gets to gold for days.
I'm a massive
He always got the good randoms.
Oh man.
You got the new players.
Oh man.
I can tell you it was not fun. That's for sure.
Definitely wasn't.
It was such a terrible experience. So I had to take a break just to keep myself in check. And I was talking about how someone might have been luckier than me in that maybe they never had to face any of those challenges, and now I guess they're ahead of me in the esports career, if I could say such a thing. But I mean, it is what it is. I feel like if you work hard, you can compensate for that gap in talent and in luck.
Yeah.
What do you think, James?
True. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah,
because I know it's going to sound corny and like a motivational speaker, but when you put 10,000 hours into anything, it shows. I mean, Pengu has how many hours in the game?
oh my word.
We don't talk about Pengu.
That guy is just insane.
Yeah,
Probably 20,000.
something like that. And
Yeah.
when you put that many hours into anything, you tend to get better at it.
I just got moved to AFK for some reason.
What?
Oops.
It's because I talk through my mic on my phone. That
Oh.
my main headset isn't talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just
See, that's one of the other struggles as well. Headsets
Yeah.
are expensive, so we have to use our phones as mics.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah, and that leads me to what I was going to say. I want to just read a few of the comments in the chat to see what the live viewers are talking about. So, hello to everyone who wasn't here when we started. We've been talking about Rainbow Six Esports in Africa. I should say sub-Saharan Africa. I hope that Kenya and South Africa is a pretty good representation. Hey, if you're playing from another country, let us know. Because I feel like I really want to grow the scene so that it's not just Kenya, South Africa, and I don't know, Mauritius. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Skies was saying, I don't think this is 10,500. Maybe meant a 1050, a GTX 1050 card from 2016 goes for like $300 on official stores. Lol. And that's not even including the shipping. It's crazy
Yeah.
expensive.
Shipping will probably be another $100.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. Imagine that. I don't even know how much the RTX cards are going for, the second generation RTX, the 30 series. But it's going to be something pretty insane.
Yeah, I think the 30 series, they said it's going to be around like $700 or $800.
Oh, dude, imagine how
Oh.
much that's going to cost when it gets here. It'll be like 1,000.
And it'd be
Oh.
like
Yeah,
20,000 rand just for one graphics card. Not a chance. No thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Skies was also talking about how internet prices are expensive for the bandwidth, and I relate to this so hard because today I've been downloading Call of Duty Warzone due to popular demand. People apparently want me to play it. And the thing is freaking 125 GB. Let's start there. And I have a download speed of half an Mbps. So imagine how long that would take me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna
Oh,
Isn't it like
take you a
200
good week, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 200. It's 200.
That's not gonna take a week. It's gonna take a month.
feels bad, man. But that's life. That's life here. I should mention, by the way, I should mention that the internet service I'm using, we're at the lowest tier, and there are definitely higher speeds than mine. But I'm just not one of, again, I'm not one of the lucky people to enjoy blazing fast enterprise type speeds.
1
Oh,
gigabyte line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, you're not alone, eh?
True.
Why? How
I
is it
mean, I have
in
a-
the day?
I have a 12 megabyte download and about a 3 upload or something, but I ran a 5 megabyte or a 10 megabyte line without fiber. We're still waiting for fiber in our area for like the
What?
past 2 years.
Wow.
So they've
Wow.
been saying the whole time they're gonna put it in, and then February came when they said they were gonna do it, they didn't do it, and we're still waiting.
Wow.
Wow.
So
No, don't worry. They said, yeah, where I live, fiber is only coming in 2 years, so we're still waiting for 2 years.
What? That's
And
crazy.
like the service provider that we have in the area where we live, for a 4 meg line, it costs $1,800 a month, and that's insane.
Whoa. Say that again.
What?
Hydra, say that again.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry, Wi-Fi problem.
yeah, there goes the Wi-Fi again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Case in
Speaking
point.
about Wi-Fi,
Perfect timing. But
Oh my.
I don't know about you guys. How is the? Do you guys view your internet subscription prices as expensive?
no,
Oh.
we get a 100 meg fiber line for, I think it's 1,000 rand, and it's the same price as my normal 10 megabyte line now. So there's no difference.
Wow.
See, everything depends on where you live, actually, because for a 4 meg line here in the Northern Cape where I live, it's $1,600 for a 4 meg line. So it all depends on.
John, turn your camera
So,
off. Maybe the Wi-Fi
some-
will register a bit better.
I hope so.
Should be a bit better.
Like I said, it all depends on where you live in South Africa, because here in the Northern Cape it's expensive for a 4 meg line to pay $1,400, $1,600. It's insane. Like Jordan said, they're paying $1,000 for a 10 meg line, and I have to pay 1,800 or 1,600 for a 4 meg line, and so everything is just where you live. And unfortunately, while I'm not working, still a student, I can't afford to pay like $2,000 or $3,000 for a 10 meg line here where I live, so it's expensive.
See, I have it lucky. I'm on the coast, so I'm close to wax cable, so that's why the prices here are so cheap.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's just lucky when you get to live on the coast. And yeah.
Okay, Raven Fury's in the chat. He says the 3080 is the cheapest one and it goes for 24,000 rand.
There we go. It's funny because he's
Oh,
sitting,
that's-
he's sitting right there. Hello, Raven Fury.
Oh, Mr. Crow.
That's Crow, by the way. Eric is Raven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So his real name is Raven and his in-game name is Crow.
Ironic, eh?
Oh my goodness. I'm not that good with math, so I just did the translation. 24,000. Not translation, conversion, sorry. 24,000 rand equates to 155,700 shillings for one graphics card. That's about as much as a small car. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So you gotta
Yeah,
choose.
that's
You gotta
insane.
choose, Erica. You want a 3080 or a car?
How about I give away my kidneys? I don't even need them.
I mean, organs go for a lot, eh?
Hey!
Hey, we only need one liver, so don't worry.
There we go. That's a couple mil.
Hey, did you guys know the liver is the only organ that grows back after a part of it was cut off? So you could be donating like half a liver every year
Yeah.
and then wait for it to regrow. Then you donate the
Yeah,
other
you'd be
half.
millionaire in no time.
Oh, Lord.
No, I think actually we should start considering that, eh?
Oh no, I don't know, man. I'm
mean,
I'm not that desperate.
I consider it every day when my frames drop to 40 and I'm like, I'm gonna sell this liver.
I've felt that one somewhere. I totally relate, man. Okay, let's see. We've been live for about 45 minutes, so I think we can take a short 3-minute break and then be right back.
It's some alcohol for this. Go get a beer quickly. I'm actually gonna. I went out. Are we on intermission?
uh,
Don't worry, I've had that a lot of times, ooh, especially with scrimming and everything.
yeah.
Alright, we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. We're still here. We appreciate it a lot. We're having an easy time. I see Jordan's popped open a cold one.
Oh yeah.
That's his baby.
I need to get the hangover gone. It's the only way to get the hangover gone.
We're just having a good time overall. Okay, I'll just going
that's a
back
good
to what we were talking about before we went to the break. Skies is saying the best way to live in Kenya is by laptops because PC parts are too expensive. Even the laptops aren't that affordable either. I feel you. I feel it right here in my heart. I know exactly what you're saying. As someone who's in the same shoes as you are, I totally understand what you're saying, man.
I can put a point out on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the laptops and okay, let's talk about the laptops.
Mm-hmm.
The ones on retail, like let's say if you're going to like the retail shop and whatnot, those are highly expensive. I can guarantee you that. There's a laptop I remember I got that's from Shuffle. Shuffle is very popular here in Kenya. So like Shuffle is everything. If you have their contacts, when it comes to PC parts and laptops, guys are always ahead of the curve. I got the laptop for like how much is that? Like $1,400. That's equivalent to like 140K. That's Kenyan currency. Whereas if you go to the retail, that's like, I think the last time I saw it was like 220. How much is that? Like $2,800, like US dollars.
Damn.
Yeah, that's like almost 300K.
That's a big markup.
Which is mad.
What?
Yeah.
Same process
So-
if you build your own PC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually,
Well,
even
actually-
if you build PC, it would be even way better.
It'll be cheaper as well.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
So I think you just have to know like the right people. I think once everyone started knowing about Shuffle and maybe all these other guys like actually do importation on a small scale, you find it much easier to actually build with their help. So yeah, just through the help of like these other guys, it's become easier now.
And it's also much cheaper when you buy it from the manufacturers themselves. The import cost will be more expensive, but it'll be cheaper in the long haul than buying it. Like, let's say, for example, buying through EveTech in South Africa. If you go through the manufacturer themselves, it'll cost you 3,000 less than you would if you buy through EveTech.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's a lot cheaper to buy off Nvidia itself to like order a graphics card and that, but then again you pay your shipping fee because they're obviously in America or wherever they are.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it will turn out cheaper because you don't have to then keep buying new parts that they don't make or sending back. And especially here with EveTech, it takes about 3 weeks for them to approve your send back of a faulty product.
Wow.
So it takes the 21 days,
Wow.
and then you've still got to wait for them to ship it back to you, a new working product.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's rather lengthy, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very lengthy.
So, I think, just going back to what we were saying, it's rather difficult and it's rather expensive, and I really believe it's because, like I said earlier, it's a new industry and it's kind of uncharted waters for the African demographic.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how it is with every product. When it first comes out, it's super expensive. Like, think about computers when they first came out, and there were no computers at the scene. I think even more recently, like mobile phones. When mobile phones were first introduced, I can remember in Kenya, they cost so much money, but nowadays they're so cheap. So I feel like as things go on, it will get better. And this leads me into my next point, James. Things are kind of looking up in terms of esports at least in Kenya, because there's a clan called Tex. What does it stand for again?
Tactical execution.
Tactical Execution Clan, man. Shout out to them. There's a clan that's looking for players. So can you tell us anything about them, what you've picked up from your interactions with them?
I think Tex Clan started back in from the last activity I remember they had initially. Sometime I think last year, they started recruiting. Their main game was Call of Duty. So they started specifically in Kenya. They started in Mombasa. So they started picking up guys who are around the locality that actually play Call of Duty, which I was surprised to actually see that people that actually play it. And I think they participated in that tournament for last year, the one held by PSG Pro Series Gaming. The 1 million, was it 1 million or 500k prize pool tournament. I think which they came third. Was it third or fourth? Somewhere there.
Still good.
So they started once they established their presence. They started recruiting guys in other genres like FIFA, Tekken.
Why don't
They did not touch Rainbow Six at that time as yet. There's a particular point I think sometime this year or sometime last year at the end they went on a hiatus, so they were very quiet. Then they just recently made a comeback. I think sometime early this year they were playing in EU only. There were some tournaments in EU in Call of Duty. Then they decided to now start diversifying into these other genres. So the speed at which Rainbow Six is coming has really caught a lot of eyes, and them included. So they decided, okay, they want to start recruiting guys for Rainbow Six. And as at just when I last left them, I got news that they have recruited some guys in Uganda. Apparently, I think 3 of them. I'm not sure how many, but if I can guess fairly, between 3 or 4 guys from Uganda. So yeah. So shout out to the guys in Uganda if they're watching. So yeah, at least they have some representation now in the Siege community competitively.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
just continuing on that theme of the esports scene in Kenya growing, I think it was 2 days ago, there's a Kenyan gamer and Twitch streamer. She's called Peaches, and she was interviewed by one of the national TV stations in the morning. That's that's kind of a big deal here. That's big news.
Which is it's very interesting. All these things are dropping because Peaches got an interview yesterday in the morning. Then there is with that there's an institute. What's it called? There's an institute from Britain, the UK. It's called Pearson's. They want to start introducing some esports courses in Kenya.
Wow,
so that's something. Yeah,
wow, that's a big deal. What?
Yes, which is it's massive. It's really huge. So they've been seeing the growth of esports in the country is really getting bigger and bigger. So they also want a foothold. Then I think yesterday, apparently, which is very interesting, there's this competition for Safaricom. Safaricom is now, it's actually Vodafone, but it's Vodafone in Kenya. So that's the brand name they use in the country. They had a competition on mobile, and apparently it's not esports related, but the winner is a lady, apparently, which shocked everyone because they were like, okay, how can a chick beat all these guys? So it's caused, actually, I've been checking Twitter, it's been causing a lot of conversation. Yeah, because they're like, how did she cheat or something, or what, does she know her way around the game or something?
Dude, if,
So,
if
yeah.
you cheat in a mobile game,
Yeah.
dude, if
I'm-
you
I-
Then
I-
it's just sad.
I'd be surprised if a guy can cheat, but if a woman can cheat, okay, that's disturbing.
that would be even crazier.
Yeah, that'd be even crazier.
Cheaters come in all shapes and sizes, but they're all trash.
True, 100%.
So speaking of,
Yeah.
have any of you in the ZA servers ran into a cheater in a game? I've always got the MMR rollback thing, but I've never run into a
Yeah.
cheater in game.
Oh, a lot.
Lots,
Like too many
well,
times
have.
actually.
I have,
lots,
yeah.
lots
I
that
have.
we suspect are cheating. Like you can see movements are sketchy and
Yeah.
something's not right, but you'll never know until you get that MMR rollback. Then you know, okay, but now you go back and think, who was it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've played so many games prior to that rollback.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know
Who did it?
who did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Ubisoft should make it that when you get the rollback message, it shouldn't say a player you were in a lobby with was banned for cheating? It should like say their name. James Karanu, MojAE
think
was
it
banned for
should.
cheating, so you got your MMR
I
back.
think it should.
They
It
are doing
should.
it now.
Yeah, we're supposed to name and
No,
shame
they-
them.
They're doing it
Yeah.
now with the new season. When I read the patch notes, they said
Uh-huh.
you're no longer gonna get an email because they used to send emails. Apparently, I never got one.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Me neither.
apparently now when the MMR rollback happens, it's gonna tell you thank you for your help for getting whoever what it banned. Apparently, so I'm still waiting for that to
Ah.
happen. So
That's nice.
Oh,
Name and
okay.
shame these cheaters. They
Yeah.
they just absolutely ruin
True.
the experience
The
on top of all
community.
these other things we're dealing with.
yeah.
Imagine all all the stuff we've been saying is kind of like it's a struggle, and then on top of that you have to deal with cheaters. It just messes up the vibes completely.
Especially with the community Discord for Siege and that.
Mm-hmm.
When someone gets MMR rollback, it's on there within 2 seconds of him seeing that, and then everyone's like, "Who got banned? Who got banned? You're a P word."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone
Oh, yeah.
just goes insane because we want to know who it is so we can
Who
go
it
to
is,
them
yeah.
and clap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see Adrian is in the chat. Hey Adrian, welcome. So what are we planning? He asks. I'll give everyone who's rejoined or who's new kind of an overview of what we've gone over before we go over to the next little segment. So we talked about well, everyone introduced. Oh, I just realized I didn't introduce myself. Well, not fully. all my guests introduced themselves, and they kind of told us how they got into Siege Esports. So I guess I didn't do it. I'll do it now. Well, my name is Olympus. I have 900 hours in Siege, so that should tell you something about how much passion I have for the game. Which, by the way, is considering I took a break of about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. So if I had been playing during that time, I'd be like at 2,000 hours, which it's just kind of nuts to me. Anyway, I have a lot of passion for the game, definitely. I play mostly support roles, and I've been kind of the de facto IGL in Simba Ultimate, or in the squads we play with, even if you're not playing as Simba Ultimate. So that's what I do. Obviously, I'm a YouTuber, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I've started streaming a little bit of late, so this is kind of like me getting my feet wet in this whole YouTube thing. So we did that. We talked about the history of Rainbow Six Esports, and I guess esports in general in Kenya, in South Africa. We went over an overview of what the scene, the industry is like in terms of esports, and here we are. So moving over to the next little segment, and I'll start with you, Hydra. Off the top of your head, who could you tell me are like the big players, the big hitters, the big names in terms of like teams, competitions in South Africa?
No, actually, you get your teams like ATK and then Latin and all those type of teams, and they are exceptional. Like Koza, I can't even imagine someone having playing until like level 500. I haven't seen it personally. And when I saw him level 500, I was like, geez, does he have a life, you know? But some guys are just, some guys just have the time to invest themselves into, and obviously there's a lot of great people in the South African or African community in the whole, because there's so many new competitions coming up, and like people actually starting to sponsor South African or African like organizations, because the Rainbow Six Siege like community is starting to grow, it's starting to get better. And in my personal opinion, I think if we played on the EU servers with their ping, we would smash there. But unfortunately, we are in the South African servers and everything. But I think teams that are in South Africa are really, really good. Like if you take ADG is really good, Ladin, Memento Mori, Prevail even. There's a lot of good teams in South Africa, and I think it's only gonna get better, worse for us, but better for them, because there's so many teams actually starting to like come out, and it is actually like very pleasing to see that there are so many good South African players and African players in the whole. I think it's a positive thing, so it'll just help South Africa and the African community to like get a foothold in the bigger industry in e-leagues. So I like it.
You'll excuse me for just a second. I have to take the door. But while I'm away, Jordan, do you have anything unique to say, to add on top of what Jonathan said?
Yeah, I think that the esports scene in South Africa and Africa as a whole is just it's a lot of good players, and then you obviously have your bad players. You have your bronzes, copper players, but then I mean those copper players and those bronzes, you don't know you're going against them, and they can fall 4-0 in ranked if you're having a bad day. So it's not that they're bad players, it's just that it's either one of the two things. One, they could be memeing, because I know the one guy on Siege has minus 900 MMR from last season.
Liam the Copper,
yeah. So
yeah,
he had minus 995 or something.
Oh my gosh.
But then you get the coppers and the bronzes that are actually decent in the game. It's just they don't have a team to play with, so they solo queue most of the time, and there's no team coordination.
Ah man, I feel like that perfectly describes exactly what you're talking about, James. Like we are ranked somewhere in silver. We deranked to a point where the bronze boys. And I feel like so many of them were just because we weren't a 5-star.
We weren't, yeah. Truly, we weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, me speaking from gold and plat mainly, all of us. It's all of us now that got plat last season, pretty much. So we're mainly in the gold and the silver ranks. But okay, calm down. Hey, Jono, at least I got platter. Just don't be jealous.
It's fine. It's fine.
But honestly, gold is elo hell in Siege at the moment in South Africa, because you get your plat players, your plat 1 players, diamond players that will drop down to gold just to meme and to push
fun games.
Them off. And fun games as well, because I mean the diamond community for Siege is maybe 10 people. I know the 80k boys are mainly diamonds, but the other guys are all solo queue. So no diamond player that's going to solo queue in South Africa is going to want to stay there if they're not going to find matches. So they drop down on purpose. But then it ends up pissing the whole gold community off, because it's not fun when you have something like that. Like if you go from gold and you go play in copper, it's not fun for those guys, because you know the game better than they do.
Yeah, which okay, I'll talk about this other point I had written down. It's the long queue times on ZA servers. Because I tried solo queuing one time because I guess my friends weren't on. So I said, let me try to solo queue. And I just couldn't find a game. I queued for 30 minutes. I was like, no way. I stopped the queue, restarted it. I got to like 25 hours. I was like, I'm not finding a game. And James, in our elo, our rank level, I feel like if you're not a 5-man, you can't find a game.
You can't.
It's like that with us as well.
Yeah.
The Siege community just 5 stacks. You barely get people going in a 4, 3 or less stack. Because it's just you don't find matches because of the community that is so small and everything. You can't find matches unless you're a 5 stack.
True.
Yeah.
And the thing is also, if you get to like gold 2, gold 1, you don't get games if you solo queue. You'll get games when you're like silver 2, silver 1, because there's a lot of gold 3 searching and bronze searching. So then you get thrown into a game where there's a mixture of different ranks, and that's also not fun because let's say your team is, all of them are gold 1s, and then you're playing against silver 1s. It's not a fair competition at the end of the day. But
Not a
then again, that's the problem we have with the community actually being small, but it's growing, but it's still small at the moment. So once the community grows a lot, then I think the queue times and everything will get like less because there's going to be more people searching and everything. So yeah.
And I mean, always at the beginning of the season is fine because literally, when was it? When did Shadow Legacy drop? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
I literally played that night. We played about 6 ranked games, and we found them within 2 minutes of queuing.
Wow.
So it's always at the beginning of season that it's so everyone's on. Everyone wants to play their placements, and then as soon as they finish their placements, they go play casual because they don't want to lose their gold or their plats. Like you'll never see Corsa queuing ranked because they only do tournaments like the Face It or whatever and scrums, and then they go on to casual for wars. He'll do his placements, so you might get him in placements, which is absolutely hell. But then after his 10 games, he's just done. You won't see him in ranked. Like maybe once in a blue moon you'll see Corsa pop up, and then you're like, okay, I'll do 4, cancel match. we don't want to play that.
Yeah, you'd rather get that 30-minute ban and then losing that MMR. Especially playing against those people.
Yeah. But people take the rank so seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, and especially in ZA, and I don't even know why. The thing that I came to learn, which I'm glad that the two of you have kind of just taken the words out of my head, if I should say, is given that the community is so small, the distribution of ranks is also not on a normal curve. I feel like it's skewed a little to the right, so the games will play, and we're just like, this guy is not in our level. There's no way this guy is a gold. He has to be a platinum and higher because the way he's playing is... There's no way we should be queued together. He's just absolutely stomping us. And Moji can tell us about the times we were getting smashed by Busherion.
Yes. Just to name a few. There are guys who...
Notion. Oh my god. They were stomping us.
There was a time also, I think Defiant Zeus was a big problem.
That guy is a bandit main, and he was shredding us with the MP7.
Bandit is just
and
insane.
now we have him.
Oh man.
Now he's on the
oh my god. He was a big problem. So like, I remember like I used to tell you guys, by the way, because I had the analysis panel, and I could be able to see like everybody's stats just before we enter the game. So just as soon as like I tell you guys, by the way, this guy's a bandit man, you need to ban him, and they did not ban him, and we saw hell that day.
Yeah,
it was bad. So every time we see him, just ban bandit.
We saw hell that game. Hey, it was crazy. And the thing is,
It was.
losing 3 games in a row to the same team, it just
Yeah.
it does something to you mentally. It's just like,
That's another.
does.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out.
another thing.
Does.
Alt F4 done for the day.
That's another thing with the low ranks as well. That you'll get your certain amount of people that are in those ranks, or in 1,000 MMR of you,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll only get like 3 teams or 4 teams queuing. So you'll get the same people every single match.
Yeah.
And it's the worst because there's no variance, because they know now how we play and we know how they play. So we try to counter each other, and then it just ends up
Yeah.
Mess.
like
Very
a
true, very
50-50, even when we have like a 80% chance to win or whatever.
True. I think just to add on to that, I think Olympus we've had that experience whereby I don't know if it was with Defiant or with who, we went like 5 straight matches with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we lost all of them because we were facing the same squad over and over and over. It was like like a nightmare on top of another nightmare, so you keep falling in an endless a bottomless pit, so it
Mhm.
was so bad.
Yeah.
Hey, but
So bad,
the
yeah.
bright side about that, you probably fell out of the MMR range.
At the end of it. So I mean, the next match you would have got someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what the craziest thing is? When you're playing against those guys, they have comms that are Dark Zero level. They have
yeah.
gun skill that is 5 bolos, 5 shikos on a team, 5 marks. Oh, Mark from TSM is just
Yeah, he's just.
is a beast on his
insane.
gun skill.
It's insane,
But
yeah.
when you play with those people as part of your team, they're just feeding, and you wonder, like, is this even the same person?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you play against him and he's like diamond level, and then you play with him and he's copper 5.
Oh
And
yeah,
then, like-
yeah.
But
Jordan,
you're
that's
7-0
that's
against-
BMO. That's
Yeah, that's
BMO in a nutshell. If you play with that guy, mate, it's a nightmare. But when you play against them, that's even worse, because then
Oh, yeah.
all of a sudden he's just like, you can't be killed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, so I'll read the chat. Skies is still here. Wow. Thank you for your continued attention. I appreciate it, man. Getting someone to watch something that's longer than 5 minutes on the internet
It's
is
hard.
an achievement to me, especially me who's a heavy user of Twitter. Twitter is big on the small.
on the R6.
So it's only 140 characters when they started, and then they made it only 280. The videos are usually really short. So I feel like over years it's trained my attention span to become just attuned to short things on the internet. So if you've been watching since we started, man, hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate your attention. Explain the inclusion of Middle East on esports and one African country. We'll definitely get to that, Skies. Collins says, "What's up, everyone? Enjoying the discussion so far. Thank you. We're enjoying it as well." Virtue G2 is OP. I don't really know about the new G2 squad, to be honest. I don't know about Citizen, Uno. I don't know how they play. Ever since Fabian left, I just
Citizen,
kind of...
Citizen
Oh,
is
I lost
Ash. Oh,
Yeah.
Citizen and Ash. When you play against, if I ever played against Citizen, I would automatically ban Ash.
Damn.
That guy is insane with an Ash.
Yeah.
is.
Does he use the G36C or the R4C?
It depends on which map he plays on, because he plays a lot. He plays a lot with the G36C and the R4C, but it all depends on which angles he's gonna hold and everything, and where he's pushing from. Because like I saw the game against BDSM and
Did
G2 with the.
Did you say
he
BDSM?
I thought I heard. I thought I was wrong. I thought I was.
No, no.
BDS.
That's actually BDS. BDS. Sorry. And now you guys know what's running in my brain, eh? But while he was playing against BDS, the one round he used the R4C, and then the round just next he used the 36C. So it all depends on which bomb site he's attacking and all that type of things.
Oh.
Okay. I'm told
Yeah, from
I'm told Spoit is also kinda cracked.
Hey,
Oh
yeah,
my
that
god.
Voice is cracked. Yo.
My God, that guy is busted. Busted.
He needs
so
to be
bad.
nerfed, eh?
He needs to be nerfed ASAP.
Oh, okay.
Rick, I
He is-
don't know if we have time for another off-topic, but I know another big thing is the toxicity and the boosting in South African community.
Oh,
Oh,
So-
why don't I let you sit on that for a while, and then we'll wrap around to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so before we kind of went to that segue, we were talking about the big teams, tournaments, like the people who are recognized in the scene, and in Kenya there aren't that many. So I think by default, since it's only Simba Ultimate, we're the biggest Siege team. But in Kenya, I should say also, the esports scene in Kenya, I feel like is more geared towards FIFA and more console style games, because I know fighting games are really big. Shout out to Queen Arrow, by the way. She's a really good Tekken player. I know FIFA is really big, Mortal Kombat is big in terms of it being a competitive thing and not just people play for fun, because whenever there's like how should I call it, let's call it a little tournament geared towards the youth, there usually is something to do with play this FIFA competition, you stand a chance to win this much, play this Tekken competition, you might win this, let's get together and organize a LAN event and we're gonna be playing FIFA competitively. So I feel like in Kenya the scene is really towards that side. Shout out to MOM. I think it means Masters of Madness, Monsters of Mayhem. I'm not sure, but they're really pushing this FIFA esports thing in Kenya, and I appreciate everyone and all the TV stations that let us even go on there. Thank you. So okay, since we're talking about the big players and growth and the scene expanding, it would be low-key a crime if I didn't mention that the African scene has gotten recognition from Siege GG. So, Moji, since you're kind of involved with that, tell us how Siege GG came to be keeping tabs on African players.
Yes. So, what happened is
Let's go.
okay. I don't know whether I'm allowed to like put this on record, but someone from CGG reached out to me initially. So I just relayed them to the R6 Africa like admins, because they're guys who actually handle that Twitter handle.
Mm-hmm.
So they had initially asked for like stats, information, data on like the teams and performances that actually occur like in Africa. They specifically mentioned like MENA, Middle East and North Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But they also wanted to include the demographic in South Africa, because they had no information as regards that, but they were very, very interested, because they're seeing activity but they don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, to their knowledge, they already had information on ATK, which was very interesting, because it looks like they kept following up on ATK. And back in the days when the squad was with Nibble, I think Nibble is an org in South Africa. So it seems they followed all the way from Nibble until the time now they were recruited to ATK. So they had information on that, but they just needed a bit more. And I think the guys at the admin fed them the information and whatnot. So that's how they now relayed it to the article they had like written down. So it seems that we have eyes. We have eyes. There are people who are actually interested in like Africa as a continent in terms of Siege, and they would like to see the development keep growing and see where it goes. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had that website in or rather the link to the article in my history, but I don't have it. I'll link it in the description for anyone who's interested to just go read and see what CGG was saying. But basically they were saying Rainbow Six Esports in Africa is kind of taking off, and notable teams are ATK and blah blah blah, and they were saying there are a bunch of tournaments and so on. So it's really impressive to me. I have to say it's really impressive, and it fills me with a certain type of hope to see that. I mean, CGG themselves, that's a big deal. They're a big name. What do you guys think about that? We'll start with Hydra.
Yeah, I think the more exposure the African community can get, the better. Because if we can start getting like our team's names out there and everything, then for the competitive scene, it's going to be so much better, because you've got your Asia, like regions, you got your Europe regions, and it'll actually, for me personally, if they bring an African region out, I think the African region can actually give the European regions and everything a go, and like actually like compete against them. With the right like branding and all that type of things, you know.
I'm right there with you. I think a couple of the teams we have on this side of the planet can give EU a good run for their money.
Yeah, most definitely. I think after, like, you have to give them, obviously when they first start out, they won't be the best, because they have to get used to their play styles and all that type of things, and you have to get the funding to go over there and all that type of things. But once the African like region has been established and all that type of things, I think it'll take us a good like 2-3 years before we get really like set in the community, and then I think we will be able to take the African community to a further place in the esports league.
For sure. Jordan, what do you think? Imagine the change that it would bring to this scene if Africa was, like officially recognized as a region in one of the. Technically, they're not called Pro League anymore because that's an ESL brand name. So I'll call them the Face It Leagues. But everyone knows them as Pro League, so I'll just stick to that. Imagine the change that would come to the scene if Africa was recognized and competed and had its own, Pro League division.
Yeah, I know that Africa has a Pro League type of thing, if I can put it that way. Crow actually almost made it to Challenger League, was it?
Oh.
No, they played Challenger League for Siege, but that was in EU time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was before we had the servers in that. ESL, sorry. So I know that we do have it, and I know there's a lot of potential into it. I just think that an organization or a company needs to pop out of nowhere and be like, listen, we're gonna start this for Africa in a whole, and have LAN events at the big stadiums like Cape Town or Johannesburg, Pretoria, whatever it is, and just get the South or the African R6 community into everything, and have a connection with the Pro League guys, and see if we get a winner of the Challenger League that they can go do a Challenger League in EU or whatever it is, and fly the guys over that won the Challenger League and then see how they do there, and then we can start getting the communities all together as a whole, not just Africa but EU, America, Asia, everything all together, so that you have a different variety of players from all over the world in one place for the same thing.
Man, you'll excuse me for being a little bit vulnerable on stream, but I'll tell you, one of the things that I wake up every day and I dream for, the things I go to bed at night thinking about, is one day being able to cast in an arena in South Africa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's big dreams for me, man. I can see it now.
Well,
I watched those promotional videos with like the dramatic music that Rainbow Six Esports puts up on YouTube. Like, G2 or the after movie of the Rainbow Six Major in France, and they usually look so cool to me, and I can just in my head picture myself carrying a Kenyan flag over my shoulder and just representing my whole country on that big stage. It would be amazing.
It would be huge. Yeah.
Those are big dreams for me, man. Mark this
happen.
by the one day. I think we're all gonna make it. We have to.
Well, Eric, if you stick with us, that's where we're planning on going. Hopefully, one day.
Yeah.
Is to, well, it's not going to be anytime soon because it's not even 2 months yet that we've been going with FL. But we want to see it go to hosting live LAN tournaments, and that's in the country, and just getting people out and all of that. So that's our 10-year plan, if you can call it that. But we want to go there one day to get to that.
One day we'll get there.
One day.
One day. Just maybe not
you
today.
can play.
Okay, so when we're talking about how CGG was kind of getting their noses into what's going on in Africa, James, you said they were more interested in the Middle East and North Africa region, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so do you feel a certain type of way about how that region is getting like only one slot in the Rainbow Six World Cup?
Yeah.
Do you feel something?
Like, it feels so unfair. I think I said the same thing on Twitter.
I think we get like only 1 or 2 slots.
Like, there are 6 teams that are playing, but we're only getting 1 slot in the World Cup, which is insane.
Imagine, and that's covering Middle East and Africa.
And Africa. And if you can see the flags that have been shown, which is like quite literally the teams that are going to participate in that tournament, are just like Arabic countries only. Which I was just like, no way. Not even South Africa, for Pete's sake.
Imagine, I was shocked. I was expecting to see at least that South African flag, but bruh.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay. Let me just put this article
we should start
up
a
on
petition. I think we should
screen.
start a petition. Like, get South Africa to the World Cup.
Yeah. So on screen right now, I have the CGG article that's talking about the World Cup. So 45 participating countries and regions, blah 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 blah. They say how many teams are participating. So I guess we can count here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like you said, there's 6 teams. No, that's wrong. 6 slots. 6 slots, and we only get 1. And the countries that are listed there, let's test my knowledge of geography and flags. This looks like Egypt, I'm not sure. I think the green one next to it is Saudi Arabia.
Google's your best friend, eh?
This red, man, I don't know what that is. and I think one of this is UAE. They all look alike. But no Kenya, no South Africa. Jordan, tell me it pisses you off as much as it does us.
Yeah, well, we need to get out there sometime. We will get there one day.
Yeah.
We want to get there one day.
Hydro, any thoughts on that? Hello, Hydro? Huh. It seems he is not there. Okay, now it's time for us to kind of keep up with current events. So if Hydra is still not back, I'll start with James MojAE, as you're known in game. I know this COVID has pissed off a lot of people, because I was talking with a friend recently, and they were telling me how many plans they had and how like the year was starting to just kind of take off, and all that went down the drain when we had to close down everything. So bringing that to an esports perspective, what are your hot takes? What are your think pieces on how COVID has affected esports?
Oh, true. Like, starting off, I think not only just Siege, but practically like every esport there is out there.
Mhm.
Because most esports events, whether especially like major events, usually happen on LAN.
Mhm.
So having like like certain regulations in every specific country actually stops all these like events from happening. And especially in countries where like there's going to be like a mass audience, is becomes like a very big problem. So coming to Siege now, I think there was supposed to be a major this August,
No,
which was
August.
now reduced to like regional leagues.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like every region had its own major. But that was very sad because it would have been better if we had like a mass audience. It would be much bigger. It would be more like the experience would be more thrilling
Mhm.
just to see like an audience there. It's the definition of actually esports. It's supposed to be a spectator sport, so even just the presence of people around makes it feel like more thrilling to actually
Mhm.
watch.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it leaves one very memorable experience out of that. So I feel like just the spectator aspect of every single esport was hampered really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, kind of finding the silver lining in the cloud is that esports are not like traditional sports where you need to be physically all together as a team to play. So, I mean, you can play at home and everyone is in their own separate home and they're still playing. So, esports have continued to happen, although they happen online, which, since everyone is at home, just kind of bored in the house having nothing to do, the more people who are generally scrolling YouTube looking for something to watch. So I don't have any numbers to back this up, but in my estimation, I think viewership has gone up a little. I don't know, Jordan.
No, it definitely has. I mean, especially referring to Val now. I mean, first 2 weeks viewership we were within the first month we were almost at 100 subscribers. So I mean, we have now, I think we're almost at 200 at the moment, with almost 1,000 hours watched.
Wow.
So I mean, everyone's lying at home or on their phone and just looking for something to do. So they'll go on YouTube or they'll go on Twitter and they'll see the post and they'll be like, okay, here's something to do for 10 minutes or an hour or whatever, just to keep them busy.
Mhm.
And then they'll sit and watch. It's just, rather than sitting alone and doing nothing, than just watching something where people are talking and interacting with everything and still having something to watch, especially with the gaming community, that people are always just there to watch and see how things are going and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a blessing to see how much Vel is growing in the short amount of time that we've been here. And I mean, I have to thank the viewers, obviously, because they're the ones who make it all possible anyway. Kind of lost my train of thought. I had something I wanted to say, but let's check in with Hydra. Hydra, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, okay, cool. So we were just talking about the impact of COVID and the whole coronavirus situation locking things down, where people are forced to be at home, and how that has affected esports. So we started off by saying obviously there are no LAN events, and then the majors, at least for Siege, have to be played regionally instead of all the regions coming to one venue. And lastly, Jordan was just talking about how there are more people at home, by default, obviously. So there are more people gaming, that's one, and then there are more people watching as well. So do you have anything to add on to that little segment of the discussion?
Yeah, obviously the coronavirus has had a big impact in the world, not just the African community with the gaming and everything, but like before I came to Siege, I was a huge competitor in are a big fan of the Counter-Strike, um, game and everything. And like the way they incorporated everything with the coronavirus and everything, people not be able to go to LAN events and everything. They actually set up a segment while you can watch and screen share actually with the teams and everything. Like it has a fan base community where you can all still interact and watch the game together and talk to one another and everything. And I think that is actually a positive side as well, because now people that can't go to the huge LAN events can actually sit and enjoy the game with one another. Like alternately, where they only watched alone, okay, they watch him stream and everything, but now they can actually join that channel and interact with each other while watching the stream. So I think that's a positive thing, but a negative thing as well, because now the arenas won't be used, and the competitiveness between the regions aren't going to be there, and like the majors and everything being regional now, like G2 only play against BDS and all those teams. They won't be able to play against the American teams or the Asian teams or stuff like that. It obviously has a big financial impact as well on the gaming community as a whole. But I think once this coronavirus pandemic has been like not sorted out, but like
on the down low.
On the down low, everything is being good. Then everything will return to normal. But I think when it does like return to normal, I think it will be bigger than it already was, because with the fact that a lot of people has been forced to stay at home, now they can actually they got into a gaming community and everything, because there's a lot of people that with the coronavirus that was forced to stay at home. They couldn't go work, couldn't go to school and everything. So what did they do? They spent time watching like the regional events and watching their teams play and everything. And I personally think that the coronavirus, with all the negative side effects that it has had, I think it will actually have a positive impact on the gaming community as well. So
Yeah,
that's my thoughts.
I 100% agree with you. Also, on the financial side of it, I don't know if I'm under an NDA, so I'll not put any specifics. But one of the admins at Vel was looking for sponsors, and one of the people they talked to said, we really love your stuff. We're really interested in Siege. Esports looks good. But man, you've come at the wrong time, because COVID meant we've had to lay people off. We're not making as much money. So even if we wanted to sponsor you, it would be at a very significant loss to ourselves. So it's all round, it's got its ups and downs, and it just feels bad, man. We could have had a sponsor by now if things were otherwise.
Well, we do, so we're glad on that front.
Yeah.
So thanks to No Human.
Definitely.
New human, not no human. New human.
New Human, No Human. It's NU Human. I don't know how to say it.
Okay, I'll read what Collins is saying in chat. He says, I think UB haven't seen much from African scene yet. Looks like there's a lot to be done to bring more eyes to the esports scene in Africa. Any thoughts, MojAE?
I kind of agree with that. That's true. I think I got also the same sentiments from someone on Twitter, which sort of makes sense. But I kind of also, because we've been like shouting everywhere, up and about on Twitter, about how we have literally over 20 teams that are in South Africa. But the focus is so much on, North Africa in their eyes, as per what now they deem as a region. But we literally have been telling them to okay, we know you have your eyes set on that side, but we need you to look at this first, see what we have, give your take, and then decide, okay, what are you guys going to do about South Africa at the end of the day? or just Africa in general, because we feel like we've done so many events
Mm-hmm.
that I think we've come to this point where we need them to also listen for once.
For sure, for
Um,
sure.
yeah,
I agree with you,
I,
man. When
yeah,
we were without the ZA servers, I was on Reddit, I was on Twitter, I was everywhere. I was tagging all the people affiliated with Ubisoft I could find. Please, we need
Give us
servers in South
service.
Africa. And all
Oh,
my
yeah.
cries went unheard. Even when the servers
yeah.
came, I don't remember there being like a big announcement from Ubisoft themselves.
True.
So I feel like just a little bit of recognition, if they could just listen to us, if they could
Yes.
show even just 0.1% of interest in Africa, it would change things so much. Because like
Yeah.
you said, if they were to listen to us and then take a look at the scene and tell us the way forward, that it would mean so much to so many people.
Yeah.
It would. It definitely would.
Yeah.
But that's also hard because Ubisoft looks at all the big YouTubers, Beanie Body for one, King George, all of them that make these comments like, this shouldn't be in the game, this
Mhm.
is just completely broken. 2
Mhm.
weeks later, it's completely out of the game,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you never see it again. So
True,
we need to have some big YouTuber that's from South Africa or Africa, and just build that person up, or a person that we find, or whatever that Ubisoft can find, to get their input from a South African player or an African player, so that Ubisoft knows what is going on and what we need and what we want as a community.
Yeah, hopefully that YouTuber will be me, eh? So, yeah, I mean, definitely there needs to be more work from Ubisoft's side of the fence. But Sky says, problem is we need more players in the game for them to see it. Hydra, do you think we need more players, or it's just entirely up to Ubisoft?
No.
I also think we still need a few players in the African community, but I think with the players we do have, we have a lot of untapped potential to make it in the, let's say, the Pro League and everything like that. So I think it is a little bit of a neglect on the side of Ubisoft at the moment, with
Mhm.
them not like properly investing the time in other regions, because they're making so much money with the EU community and the Asian community and all that type of things, that they're not really like interested, if I can say it like that, in like trying to find new people and all that type of things. But I think once Ubisoft like realizes that our cry for pain, basically, they will have to. If we have a huge amount of people like actually like forcing it onto them and like telling them, hey, we are here, listen to us, then they will have no choice to do it. But like Jordan said, we need those few people in the African community to like make the African community stand out. Like ATK, they are a fantastic team, and no doubt about it, they're one of the best in South Africa and the African community themselves. So if we can like start with one team and building them up and getting them somewhere, then we will actually be like getting exposure for the rest of South Africa and the African community, because then they will know, okay, well, this is a good team and they're from the African community. Well, let's see what other potential they have there. And I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to like get African community recognized as a region, is to like make Ubisoft look at us, not just waiting for them to look at us, but making them look at us.
Exactly. And I'm so glad to see that there are as many people on YouTube interested in Siege Esports. From the viewership stats, the viewership stats from Vel, it's good to see that at least the community is the community itself is interested in seeing what Siege Esports is about. So when there is a team as big as 80k, as good as 80k participating in tournaments, you can bet that event will have a lot of viewership.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and as Jordan said, we just start small and we keep growing. We keep growing to the point where the viewership is so large, the interest is so large that Ubisoft will be eventually forced to see what we're on about.
Yeah, and at this moment, we don't have anything to lose. We have everything to gain. So why not try to get ourselves out there and make a difference and let them see us?
Yeah. Collins asks, anybody got the ZA Siege server stats to see how the situation is? I don't know. The way I understand it, Ubisoft themselves, or is it themselves? Yeah, they don't release the stats on like how many people are playing their game over a certain duration of time. You can see that in the Steam charts, but I don't know about Ubisoft. And even in Steam, I don't know if you can sort by region. So you guys will have to help me out on this one. James, do you know anything about like...
Yeah, I think I concur with you on that. I don't think this information is available to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really can't tell.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Hydra, you guys know anything to do with like player statistics in ZA?
I'm busy looking it up now as we speak.
I can see you typing away.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give you some time to find it. Meanwhile, I'll take a sip of my water and say that we are 5 seconds away from having been live for 2 hours. So if you've been here from the beginning, I'll say it again, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate the interest you're showing in... Did I say 5 seconds? I meant 5 minutes. 5 minutes away from 2 hours. I appreciate the interest you're showing in, finding about how the Siege Esports is doing. If you've just come back, if you've not been here since the beginning, I'll kind of go over who my guests are, just so that everyone's on the same page. We have MojAE in the center of the screen. To his left is Jordan, and then at the bottom is Hydra. He unfortunately cannot stream his video to us because, as we were talking about, internet is kind of a challenge in Africa. So we started off the discussion talking about the history and the context of Rainbow Six Esports and esports in general in Africa. We went over an overview of the same. We talked about some of the notable figures, the big names in the Siege Esports sector, industry, whatever you want to call it. We mentioned 80k. The name has come up a lot in these conversations. hopefully they'll see it and I don't know, maybe reach out and we could work something out. Just saying. I could be the next Kosa. Shout out to him. Shout out to ourselves, Jordan and Hydra. It's kind of a, what do they call it? Selfish plug. We're kind of plugging ourselves, but Vanguard Esports League is also a new player to the Rainbow Six scene. We've been about 8 or so weeks running, so we're really new, and we appreciate everyone who's been showing interest. The more established names like Metal State. I think Metal State have been hosting and organizing tournaments for way longer than we have.
You need to drop your balls first.
Ladon. Who else? Meraki Major is coming up soon. I am hyped for that one. Hey.
Yeah, that's gonna be I think that's gonna be a nice tournament.
Definitely. They've got like all the teams and all the good teams competing, and they said in one of their posters it's going to be professionally casted and produced. I'm looking forward to what that looks like. I know, James, you really like streams with the production quality is high.
Oh yeah.
I bet you're looking forward to that one, eh?
I am really looking forward to that one. I'm hyped.
I am. I'm sure Jordan is hyped as well. And then
I'm sorry.
Actually, the Bravos aren't participating in the Meraki tournament. It's only the Charlies.
wow, yeah. I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
hadn't noticed that.
We've decided to not join this Meraki tournament
Mhm.
just because we have a new roster that should be coming out soon. So we just want to get all of our strats and all of our chemistry built up again to where it should be for our next big tournament with the 16 team tournament.
I believe the tournament you're talking about is the New Human Open, organized
Yes.
by Vel. That's going to be starting in October 9th, I think.
Yes.
So
October
it's a good time to be a fan of Rainbow Six Esports in Africa. 2 major events back to back. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, we talked about COVID and how it's impacted esports and how there's no LAN and there are more people at home watching like you. The more people gaming now. I'll tell you this, I've been gaming a lot more now than I ever have in my life.
I think that's the situation with everyone.
I don't think the sweat I've grinded out in ranked matches up to anything I was facing even on EU servers. Hey, it's been
Not a chance.
it's been major hectic. We mentioned that those big names and those big teams we're talking about, they've been recognized by SiegeGG, which if you are at all interested in Rainbow Six Esports, you know SiegeGG is a big deal. So shout out to them, shout out to 80K for being on the article. Sorry, I'll get the link into the description if you want to read it for yourself. But basically, CGG is interested in what Middle East and North Africa as a region have to offer in terms of Siege esports. However, they also mentioned a lot of other countries like Kenya and South Africa have been picking up the pace as so many events have been organized and will continue to be organized. As well, we talked about the Rainbow Six World Cup and how the whole Middle East and Africa continent, that's just mad to me, man. We're a continent of about 1.2 billion people, but you only get one slot. And we have to compete against Middle East to get it as well. In fact, there is no African country participating in the Rainbow Six World Cup. They're all Arabic countries. Hey, no beef to Arabic companies, but like, man, where's our spot at the table? Well. Where's our spot at the table? Give us a chance, exactly. and that brings us up to date to where we are. I'll just look at the chat and then we'll keep it going, guys. I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun?
Yeah.
Having a good time?
Definitely.
Alright. Skies, what's up? What's up? I appreciate your contributions to the conversation. It really helps. I'll say the biggest thing that I want out of being a YouTuber and someone interested in the Siege esports scene and invested in it is not the clout. Although that would be nice. We're keeping it real. It's more the chance to have a community. It's more the chance to have a voice and to create a platform where we can all share our ideas. We can all talk. We can contribute our thoughts and our opinions to the Siege esports and just the Siege scene in general in Africa, because I feel like we really don't have a spot. So this is what I'm trying to do, and it makes me so happy to see people are keeping up this well with the chat and giving us the ideas. It's a lot of motivation for me to keep doing this. I appreciate it so much. It's Slappy says, do you think SA Siege players are underrated? Hydra.
Yeah, I think most definitely, because if we weren't underrated, then the UB has already been looking at us and everything. So I think they have been neglecting us, like I said earlier, and everything. So if you look at it at that point of view from Slappy's comments and everything, I actually do think that the South African community has been underrated, or the African community has been underrated, because if we weren't underrated, they would have come to us a long time ago and be like, hey, we have this huge ESL tournament and everything.
send your 4 or 5 best teams of the African community, and then have them come play and see how it goes. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So, in my personal opinion, I do think that they are neglecting us and that we are very underrated. But with time, I think that we'll be able to get that fact straight and show them, hey, we're not actually as underrated as you think, and we can like handle ourselves and make it in the esports leagues and everything with Siege. And like obviously there's a lot of other games that we can also do it, like Call of Duty and Counter-Strike, because I know Counter-Strike is also very, very big in South Africa at the moment. And then obviously Call of Duty. But I just don't think we have the right exposure, and that is the reason why we are underrated and not seen.
For sure. I don't even think I'll ask the rest of my guests because we all agree. We're all unanimous.
Just one thing to add, if we were underrated, we would not have gotten servers in the first place. They would not have noticed us as a community base that they want to invest in. They would not have given us servers. So we know that they have noticed us, but they haven't noticed us enough to a point of pro level playing in that.
Jordan, did you find the stats you're looking for?
No.
Yeah, so
No, there's nothing about server stats or how many players are in South Africa.
It goes back to what Collins was asking. The player statistics, I don't think it's publicly available information.
No.
I know when you go onto the Rainbow Six Siege, that stat tracker, you can actually like when you go on it, you can go to the right hand side on the top, and then you can change the country, and then you can see like the base, like the MMR ratings of the people in the country, but it doesn't like give you a solid number of how many players in South Africa plays and all that type of things.
Yeah.
Like it gives you individual things you can look at, like who's got the highest MMR, which is Causa at the moment still, and things like that. So really a number on how many people plays and how the servers are doing or anything like that.
Just continuing to talk on that a little bit. I'd seen on Twitter, I think it was Adrian, I'm not sure if he's still in the chat, but he'd said it would be really nice to have something like a central hub for news about the Rainbow Six Africa scene. And I have to agree with him, and I've seen that the Rainbow Six Africa account on Twitter is kind of doing that. But man, imagine if we had like a Siege GG, but for Africa alone. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be big.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, working as someone who's been very close with admins during a tournament, collecting stats is not easy. It's not, and it's crazy the kind of analysis that Siege GG do, and I really wish we had a bigger team at Vel to collect stats, because I'm the kind of person who's interested in statistics a lot. It would just be great to see like the ratings of players in Africa. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 or 3 more questions to go. We could either take a break and then come back, or kind of do a rapid fire section and just finish on a banger. What do you guys think? Sounds good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Just to go back to something John has said, it's actually not Corsa at the moment with the highest MMR.
Oh yeah?
Is it not?
It's Kaiko.ti at the moment.
What?
Kaiko.ti. Shout out to him, man.
I don't even think Corsa's played this season. He's not even in the top 10.
No, okay. I probably didn't check the last season's stats then. Because I just quickly did it while I was like playing around there on the stat tracker to see.
MMR.
Okay, before we get into the rapid fire, Skies has one question. How long do you think Siege as a game will survive? I didn't think it would make it to 5 years. I lost interest in it in year 3. I was like, F this, I am done. I'm packing my bags, I'm out. And to see it thriving in year 5, it caught me by surprise, man. It's good to see, but it's also crazy how far this game has come. I don't think Ubisoft thought it would be as big a deal as it is now, because it's like always in the top 3, top 5 most concurrently being played game on Steam, which is huge.
Yeah,
which is huge,
Yeah.
man. I don't think anyone can predict it. I mean, Ubisoft said they have plans for like a 10-year support program. They're doing 100 operators. They're even slowing it down so they can, like, I guess, polish each operator more before they release them. So they're kind of in this for the long run. And it's not slowing down. It's just getting bigger. The latest major event, there were even teams from... where was it? Asia Pacific is a large region. It's
Yeah.
super huge.
Right.
So whenever they had an APAC slot in like their majors, it would be like only 1 or 2 teams from New Zealand, Australia, something like that. The Fnatic boys back in the day. But in the most recent major, they had like an APAC A and APAC B, or no, I should call it APAC North and South regions.
Yeah.
And I think there was, it wasn't Pakistan, but there's a country, I'm really sorry I can't remember it, that was just, for the very first time playing on such a big scene. And I was watching the interview after. They said they were going through the same problems we had. One of their players, he was losing power during scrims. One of the players, his Wi-Fi cuts out. So when I look at that and I compare it to how similar it is in Africa, I feel like we have a big future and it's just going to keep growing. Siege is here for a while, guys. You had it here first.
Yeah.
Just one interesting thing I found before we go on.
Mhm.
Last season, Steel Wave, the top guy in the world
Mhm.
was Nathan something on Xbox. He had 11,000 M.
What?
Ooh.
And he only played 100 games.
Wee!
You probably won all his games, but that sounds like a little bit of X for me, eh?
But it's Xbox.
I don't know what that says. Okay.
It's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Before we get into the rapid fire, I'll go over to James with this question. Okay, Raven said, if people stop with the toxic stuff, Siege will go far. Every game has a toxic community.
Yeah.
Every sector of life has a toxic community. It's gonna be like that. What do you think about the toxicity in Rainbow Six Siege? That's It's Slappy who's asking James MojAE.
Okay. It was actually, I was about to touch on that.
Mhm.
I think, as you said, every game has a certain level of toxicity. Maybe just apart from a few casual games.
Mhm.
But I think, actually, I one of the factors that will help us get a much bigger community is if the toxicity can be worked on either by Ubisoft or by the community itself. Like, people have to try and be more friendlier, because the opportunity cost of losing a whole community to the thrill of actually making it so frustrating for someone to actually enjoy the game is very huge. It's very big. So I feel like also the key to actually us having a much bigger community is actually involving like all the other countries. Just apart from South Africa and Kenya, of course, we need guys from these other African countries to start getting into Siege, playing the game and whatnot. The more numbers we have, the less queue times we have. Yeah.
But
So
I feel like the countries that can be involved are kind of the SADC block, the East Africa, Central and South, because
Yeah, true.
the West Africans, I'm talking to Ghana, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire,
Yeah.
they get better ping to EU than to South Africa,
Apparently.
which is just wild. So I feel like
Yeah.
our player base is also segmented like that.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Um,
I think it's also the infrastructure
mhm,
of like Africa as a whole. There are countries that have a much favorable response time, that's latency,
mhm,
to EU than to South Africa. So that actually limits the number of players that we can actually have on the South African servers.
mhm, mhm.
So that's also something else. I think infrastructure is a problem. Infrastructure is a problem too.
Yeah, you know what
And
would be great is if we had like a server smack in the middle of Africa, where no matter where you are, you all get the same ping. Like,
Ping,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay, that would be an interesting one. Actually,
That would be
unless
nice.
of course you're living in the country, you'll get like 9 ping, but everyone around you gets. I don't know, man. Getting a server in Kenya to me seems a
It's
little
tricky.
difficult because of the government
Player
corruption,
base.
blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
And the
Player
player
base, yeah.
yeah. Actually, on that note, we do have a server
Mhm.
in Uganda
Mhm.
specifically for CS:GO.
Mhm.
But
Ah.
apparently, most of the players for CS
Mm.
usually go to the South African servers. So, like, literally, there is no population in that server.
Ah.
And the admins of that server are not doing anything about like the server, and you just find bots everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's terrible. That's
it's
terrible.
bad.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll go to Jordan, and we'll wrap back to way earlier in the conversation. It's Slappy on the issue of toxicity. By the way, do you have any thoughts? And It's Slappy is asking, what do you think about the hackers in Rainbow Six Siege? It feels like there's a lot more hackers than usual.
Hackers, in my honest opinion, hackers are they don't know how to play the game, or they just really bad. They're not hitting their shots. They don't have any game sense, nothing. So they turn towards something illegal in the game to give them that boost because they want to have a better rank.
Mhm.
It bothers them so much that they have such a bad rank that they're hacking. And it's stupid because there's no fun involved in that, because there's no you don't have that same experience when you don't know where are coming through this place, or you know exactly. It's just no fools playing it. And then going on to toxicity, especially in South Africa with the language that we have, I feel UV can't do anything about it because they do not know Afrikaans or Xhosa
so
or
like
Tswana.
they don't
Yeah.
know South African cuss words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the vocabulary.
The vocabulary. So they don't know what. I'm not gonna say it on stream, but the P word.
Yeah.
They like in what's it? I think it's Denmark or one of the other countries, or Dutch or whatever, where they that word person a cat. So it just there are so many this community that it's crazy, and it turns people off of the game because no one wants to go into a casual match. Casual for a reason, you just there to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, you this, you that,
Mm.
you're such a try hard. Why are you
Mhm.
trying casual when you just time, and then you get called out for try hard in a casual game when you just actually trying to have fun.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I've received a couple of nasty words in my chat, in my experiences,
Yeah.
to the point where I had to turn off the chat for the enemy team because it's just
I've
like
also got mine off.
I don't want to have to deal with that on top of all the
No.
stress of being an IGL.
Yeah.
and
And it
Yeah.
gets you, like it bothers you in the long run. Like in your game, you will see that message and you'll be put off of the game,
Mhm.
and you can end up having a bad game. So I just leave mine off. I don't care what they have to say. If I know someone on the enemy team, I'll put it on and say, "How's it? How are you doing? Whatever," and then I'll turn it back.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no point
exactly.
in listening to what other people have to say when you just need to focus on what you're doing.
And another thing on just kind of on the toxicity side is my account is level 200 and something because I started playing day one. I grinded it out for those 2 years playing on EU, so I got a lot of hours in, and then I took that little break that I was saying. And then when you come back to the scene, there's ZA servers, but the distribution of the MMR is so messed up that I get like bronze, I get silver, on top of all the issues we're talking about, people going AFK when you play with randoms, not having a consistent team. So I'm there, I'm in casual, I'm trying to have a good time with my measly silver rank. And then there'll be a level 16 who's asking me, hey, you're level 200 and you're silver, kinda sus. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't get it.
Or they go and they'd be like, oh, it's gold 1 with a 0.9 KD when you play support half of the time.
Yeah.
And then you're there like, well, I really don't care what you say.
Yeah, Hydra, don't know if you've gone through such things in terms of toxicity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's so much. Yeah, the other day, yo, and even but this morning I played and I found a guy who was very very racist, so I just like exposed him on the Jordan. What's that group you sent me? The Rainbow Six Community Center.
Yeah.
So I went and I exposed him, and I found out when I was looking through the. When I went through the chat and everything, I saw it's not only me that has been having problems with that same particular guy, but a lot of people was having the same problem with him regarding to racism and everything. And then you get those people that like they try to lock you out and like trigger you and everything, and they say something bad to you. And they, so
Yeah.
a lot of the community as well, like they'll do some response to like a response out there for everyone to see, or so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Jordan.
I don't know if my Discord is lagging or if it's on. I think it's mine because all of you guys are randomly lagging on my side. But Hydra, could you just say what you said last? There's some people who are just toxic just to get a response out of you? Is that what you said?
They're on purpose being like, sorry for my words, but they're being asses. And like they're trying to they do something bad towards you, and then when you do it back, then they try and expose you and make you the bad person and everything. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that started, and I've been through that. I've learned my lesson. I've had a good talking to and everything, and I just like I also just turned my chat off and everything. I don't even care what the opponent's team say anymore.
Yeah, same.
That's just one way to resolve it.
I mean, it's sad to see that we.
Then again,
yeah.
But then again, when you play a game and the toxic people are on your team, then there's nothing you can do about it because you can't turn the chat off then.
No, but you can just mute their chats.
Yeah, it's probably.
But then
you can do
that. But then it comes to a mission because you have to every time you play with them.
Exactly.
After a while, it's like there's no point in me doing this because they're still going to be toxic.
Yeah, it really hampers the experience. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And like James was saying, I think there's a lot to be done on the community side just to stop this toxicity. It really makes it so much difficult for everyone else to enjoy the game.
Yeah, it does. And like Jordan said, Ubisoft doesn't have the Afrikaans and Xhosa and Sotho vocabulary in their system built in. And they don't have the people to like identify the situations. Like our racism words aren't the same as their racism words because we like everything is different. So the only way that we can really stop this is if we like update them, like, hey, this is all the words you should look out for, and this is the words that our country or our region deems not nice, and all that type of things. But it's a huge process that's gonna have to be dealt with, and at the end of the day, we're not even sure if it's gonna work if we do it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing about the toxicity is the reporting system in Siege. Don't get me wrong, it's come a long, long way. But the other day, I didn't know this. So the other day, I met someone who was being toxic on my team. So I was like, okay, let me report this guy. And then I reported him for abusive chat because he was talking some smack down there. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. And the same person was like team killing, destroying friendly gadgets, sitting AFK in spawn, doing stuff like that. And I tried to report him again for that, but I couldn't. So apparently you can only report once and for one reason only.
Yeah, you can only report once.
Yeah, but it's so possible for someone to be toxic in more than one way, and you can't report them for all those different things they're being toxic for.
For all those reasons, yeah. You can't report them for you can report them for abusive chat, and then when they're griefing, you can't then go again and report them for griefing as well.
Yeah, Apex Legends has a system where you can report for all those different reasons, but the Siege one I feel needs some little tweaking.
No, but the thing is, Siege did have it. You could report a player for toxicity in it as a general thing, but then they changed it to abusive chat, abusive voice chat, grieving, and that. They shouldn't have changed that. I mean, it was a nice feature at the time, but now looking back into it, it shouldn't have been done because you can't report them for these different things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think personally, when they made different departments, okay, when you report the guy for griefing, that video segment gets sent only to that one department, and then the abusive voice chat doesn't ever see that. Like when you said you report the guy for abusive chat, but you can't report him for grieving. So then only the abusive chat guy can see, okay, yeah, he's abusive chat, but it's not that bad. He's not going to do anything. And then the people that's dealing with the grieving won't ever see that video because you can't report it twice.
Yeah, definitely. I think something else that can be done, though this is kind of putting, I don't know. I was watching a Twitch stream and he was saying you shouldn't put so much responsibility on the players to deal with the toxicity. But if there was a system whereby you could record gameplay where there's obvious evidence of cheating, hacking, being a general pain in the butt, griefing, if you could record that and then send it to UB, maybe it could fast track the process just to deal with the toxicity. And I don't know what you think about that, James.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's just to make the whole process easier. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, and faster, because BattlEye kind of takes their time with those reports, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my word. Hey, BattlEye is something else. I don't know if there's a breakdown in communication between BattlEye and Ubisoft, because the cases seem to be okay from Ubisoft's side. They seem to have reached BattlEye, but BattlEye looks like they take their sweet time to actually act on those reports. So yeah,
for sure. So
I do know. Sorry, Eric. I do know there is a way from just in game. I know you can go through customer support. And they are decently quick on it. I mean, I sent a customer report for, I think it was losing my account a year ago or so, and within 24 hours they sent me an email back with everything, and it was very helpful. So their customer support team is very on point with the things that they do. So I think a better way around it is to record that clip or whatever, and then send it to report them in game as well, and send it to customer support all at once. And
that for sure would be a step in the right direction. But MojAE, Ubisoft did announce that they are kind of improving their communication pipeline with BattleEye, and they're making things a bit faster and streamlined so that it's easier to report people and actually get them banned.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's
But
great. And they
that's
said
good.
every month they ban like 2,500 accounts or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But then those guys, and then they just go buy another account.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should start going with IP. Someone's hacking.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
IP
Mm.
banning the people in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, IP banning them will be so much better.
But
Yeah,
then there's
true.
also a way around that where you can put a VPN on and then
Yeah,
mask
that's
your
true.
IP.
Yeah.
And then hardware banning as well. Someone can just go buy a new motherboard.
Mhm.
Hardware banners. So there's always going to be a way around it. So they're going to have to come up with something to completely change the way that they do things when it comes to banning hackers and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that as long as there'll be games with a competitive aspect, and this is what James said, there's always gonna be something toxic. There's always gonna be that group that's a bit toxic because they just want to do anything for the win, or they're just being, a pain in general.
Yeah.
So I think the focus is usually not to stop it, because I think that's unrealistic. Although you could debate that. The point is to make it very frustrating for someone to cheat. So for example, Jordan, there you're saying a hardware ban. Like I'm imagining if you are a hacker and you went and bought out a whole new motherboard just so you could hack. You have to be pretty dedicated to being a hacker, and at some point I want to say you won't keep just buying money on motherboards.
Oh, yeah.
At some point it's got to piss that person off, like, damn it, I got banned again. That's another $200, I don't know, $300 I have to spend, something like that. So it's just
But then
about-
again, they buy those hacks anyway, so I'm pretty sure whoever is hacking has the money
Mhm, mhm,
as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
it goes both ways.
Yeah. Okay, I'll answer. This has to be the last question because we've segued so much. I'll answer this last question, and then we'll go into the rapid fire section. So It's Slap is asking, why is no one playing unranked in Africa, especially ZA? It's one answer. People take rank way too seriously.
Yeah. Yes.
So-
yes.
They'd be like, why should I play unranked and I won't even gain any elo? I want to hit it to
True.
plat this season. Before I got back into Siege, I thought unranked would be the place where you go to, I guess, maybe practice your strats. But on ZA, I don't
EU
ever
was
find
nice.
anyone there. Yeah.
I go to EU for
Okay,
Yeah.
so transition. We're going into rapid fire. Ding ding ding. I wish I had like sound effects and everything.
ding ding ding.
and some cool, I don't know, graphics on the screen. But
Oh, yeah.
Get one of those sound apps on your phone. ding, ding.
like a soundboard, and then download
Yeah.
all the LMG memes.
Oh,
Inhuman reactions and stuff like that. Mom, get the
It's over
camera.
9,000.
Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so what improvements would you like to see made in terms of supporting and growing the Siege esports scene? One sentence answer. Let's start with Hydra.
Just, I don't know, better communication overall about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I will TK you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. James?
You're the only one outside.
I think I'd say the same thing. I don't have anything pretty much to add
Mm.
onto that. But yeah.
Okay. Jordan?
Yeah.
Trying to think. It's hard to get a one sentence answer
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
something so massive, but I would just say like the not the player base, but the player dedication for esports in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Any specific challenges that South African players face? I guess you can repeat something we've said, but if you have anything new to add onto that,
Imagine having
Hydra.
I think we covered most of everything, especially with like the prices of the components and Wi-Fi and all that things, I think is the major problem.
Jordan?
Yeah, we've said it multiple times, but player base
Yeah.
problem that we all have and hate.
I'll definitely agree with you for sure. MojAE, are there any challenges specific to Kenyan players that you think we haven't covered? Or if you'd like to repeat one that's just really burning on your chest?
Okay, I think we've covered like the price of what activity and infrastructure. I think another problem, if I think we have not mentioned this, and this has become an issue as of late, starting sometime last year. Either, I don't know whether we should call it like government support or like just government in general. Because I would lie, I don't know if this is a problem in South Africa. The level of corruption is so massive. It is so massive. Especially this year, it's become
too much, man.
It's become distasteful, if I think that's the right
It's
word.
got to the point where every week there's a scandal. To the point where if you hear like 30 billion shillings was stolen, you're like...
Yeah, it seems
and
to
yet,
be an up.
30 billion is a figure that should shock you. It should make you mad. You should be like, how the hell could this happen? But now we are like used to it.
Exactly.
Don't worry, it's just as bad here in South Africa as it is there in Kenya.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna lie.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
We had like
So-
30. We had like 30 billion rand going,
Oh my
something
god!
like that. Or
Wow,
something like that. Yeah, apparently.
good.
That's,
Billion.
Some crazy number.
that's
like that,
messed
yeah.
up. In
Oh,
in
that's
Kenya, we have what's called the KRA, the Kenya Revenue Authority. So they're tax collectors. And I don't even know, I don't have the strength for this, but the director was being arrested for corruption charges on the grounds of evading taxes. Like,
The director of the actual company.
yeah, the person who's supposed to be in charge of making sure taxes are used properly in the country isn't even paying taxes.
He probably just thought, well, I collect the taxes. I probably don't need to pay it.
Oh, that's. I could keep on talking about corruption in Kenya, but I feel like I don't want to end the stream on a bad mood. So
I feel like we should not get into politics.
Yeah, it seems like
I think politics will have to be a completely whole new stream
Yeah,
because there's so
separate
much
stream, yeah.
regarding
yeah.
oh yeah, oh
That's actually a good idea. I think we might call you guys back the next time for that one.
Like a 4-hour stream and talk on politics.
4 hours. 4 hours isn't gonna cover half of the problem.
oh yeah, oh my god, wow.
Okay, next rapid fire question. Thoughts on Ace and Melusi being introduced to the competitive scene this season? Let's go with Hydra first.
I'm all for it. Melusi and Ace, they're gonna be like game changing, especially with operators like you're not even gonna have to use thermites or you can even replace Ace with Habana or anything like that. But I think with the new season and everything now, I think personally they should actually bring Ace and Melusi in because they've got their unique ways to play them, and they actually like Melusi. If you take her, she's a great help on defense by slowing down the enemies with a Banshee and everything. And then Ace, on the other hand, you can like count bandits. Like if you inside a building and you throw the Sama charge on the floor just before the wall, then you can like bypass the bandits and like destroy them because that explosion goes through the floor and then explodes it, and then you can open the wall. So that's an extra like Thatcher, if you can say it like that. So it's like a 2-in-1 operator. You gain so much from that one operator. You don't even have to take the other operator.
And
as well.
we haven't even talked about how good the AK-12 is as a weapon.
Yeah, no, that's just amazing.
It shreds, yeah.
It
And
does.
I've got the black eyes for the AK-12, so I'm so
Ooh.
happy. Woo!
What?
Sweet.
Yes.
Jono, just
Okay,
go.
Oh.
Jono, just go. Just leave us here. Go.
Moji. Moji, are you as happy for Ace and Melusian competitive?
I am. I actually am.
Mhm.
I was seeing on Twitter, I think the only person who probably that I know that's very popular that is not into either one of the characters, I think is Bengu.
Mhm.
Bengu has a big problem with Melusi, a
Mm.
very big problem. Yeah, I know a lot of other people are, but specifically for like competitive play, I would really like to see like how innovatively people can like use her
For
on a
sure.
competitive level.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Jordan, Ace and Melusian competitive. I have to sneak this question in, and I feel kind of like a dirtbag for doing it. But given Melusi is South African, do you feel a little love when you see her in the game?
Well represented.
I feel a little love when she gets banned and ranked. It's just so annoying to people against. But Ace is going to be major because
Amazing. Yeah.
the hitbox for his Salmon charges is just that orange block. So you can get a electrocuted reinforced hatch easily with Ace with no disadvantage because it's so easy to do it. And with Melusi, you don't need a bad Monty anymore because it slows him down so much and you are not affected by the Banshee that you can run around him quickly and knife him. So Monty is not going to be banned as often in comp because of Banshees that if you employ it into your strats. And Ace I've seen a new rush by Spoit, speaking of him earlier, where you throw it on, it's on Clubhouse I believe, where you throw it under his cash wall, on the cash floor from below, and you rush up red, and they can't hear you rushing up because of the Selmas just going off the whole time.
Wow.
Oh,
So it's
That's
going to be
cheese.
game changing, definitely.
That's cheesy. There's always gonna be this one guy who finds the most obscure things in Siege. Like Coconut Bra, I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know if he just like spends the whole
I
day
love-
in a
I
custom
love
game.
Coconut, bro.
I don't know if he spends a whole day in a custom game, but how he finds those angles and stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most of the things that he learns and everything he gets from the community and fans and stuff like coming to him like, hey, I found this new thing,
And a lot
put
of
it
the
in your
pro
video.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's more of a like collaboration between fans and Coconut Bra, like not him actually finding out everything on himself. Because he like in his videos, because I love Coconut Bra, like I use a lot of his like spawn peaks and all that type of things. And he always mentions the people that helped him with the angle he got or the spawn peak he got and that type of things.
Awesome. Well, gents, we made it to the end. It took us 2 hours 40 something minutes, but hey, we got through it. Thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to me. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you sitting here for 2 hours plus. Man, you guys are the realest.
Almost 3.
Yeah, almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't
feel like
that was that long.
I'm blown away. Yeah, it didn't feel that long for sure. It just felt like so much fun. The conversations were just flowing so easily. And any last words you guys want to say? Do you want to plug yourself? What's your social media? Where can people find you? Hydra.
Go follow Rich Boy R6 YouTube. New content coming soon.
Alright, you heard it. Rich Boy R6 on YouTube. Hydra.
No, I'm not in the streaming or the YouTube scene yet, but hopefully within the next few months, then I'll have a channel up and running.
Okay. Moji.
Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, just everywhere on social media. My name is James Carano. You can be able to like search that and you'll find it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And one generalized one is go support Val on YouTube and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything, we've got big things coming for everyone in the community.
Definitely.
Oh.
Guys, Vanguard Esports Leagues, go hit it up.
Yeah.
And we have a giveaway running at the moment for anybody who didn't know. It ends on the
19th, I
oh,
think.
the 19th. Yes, I think it's the 19th.
Yeah.
We have a 500 rand giveaway going at the moment, so go follow us on Twitter, and all the information will be on there. It's on our YouTube. We've got a short video on it and on it. Go have a look at that.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone once again. Thank you to everyone in the chat who's been with us. I'm shocked we've kept a consistent viewership since we started. It means so much to me, Skies, Raven, it's Slappy. I appreciate it, everyone. And I think that's it. Have a good one, everyone.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, gents.
James wants to speak. James wants to speak.
No, there's something I've just seen. You know these messages for like MMR role